Hello, students. Hope you all are in a good health. As in the last lecture, we have learnt about the derivation of Schrodinger equations. So, in this lecture, we will take a problem of particle in a box and will solve it making use of Schrodinger equations. So, let us begin. Dear students, as in the last lecture, we had learned about the wave function and its importance in quantum mechanics. Today, we will see that while solving any problem, how this wave function is helpful in extracting various information about the system which we are dealing with. First, let me revise you what we did in the last lecture. We derived both the time dependent and time independent Schrodinger wave equations. Next, we learned about the functions, eigenvalues, operators, and expectation values. So this is the problem of particle in one-dimensional box. First of all, we have to understand this problem. In the figure, the particle is shown within the boundaries of x equal to 0 and x equal to a. As the box is one-dimensional, the particle can move along x-axis only. Next, you see that potential is written to be 0 here. As the particle is free stated in the problem, the potential V is equal to 0 within the box. Beyond the boundaries of box, there is infinite potential region. Along left side where x is less than equal to 0 and on the right side where x is greater than equal to a. So what we notice from here, there is a rectangular box with a particle inside. The motion of particle can only be along x direction. Now there are boundary conditions on the particle. What are the boundary conditions? The walls of the box will be rigid, hard and elastic, which means that particle can be present, can move only within the box. If it hit the walls of the box, then after collision it will bounce back and again be in the box only. For the particle, the walls will be non-penetrable. It cannot cross the walls of the box. The box is one-dimensional. As we said, the motion of the particle can only be along x-axis. And the last particle is free as given that v is equal to 0. Now we have to solve this problem. This is the Schrodinger one-dimensional time-independent wave equation which we have derived in the last lecture. It is written here. Now, as our particle is free, so V is equal to 0. So just replace V as 0 here and the equation takes this form. Now we have to find solution of this equation number 1. Now apply boundary condition. What were the boundary condition? You see, as de Broglie had said, that every particle has a wave nature associated with it. And to explain this wave behavior, we take a wave function. That means that particle has a wave function with it. And obviously, as the particle is only within the box, the wave function can have values only within this box. Beyond the boundaries of this box, that is for x greater than equal to a, that is this right side, this shaded region, and for x less than equal to 0, this left hand side shaded region, the wave function will have 0 values. It will have only finite values, that is not non-zero values for x less than x greater than equal to 0 and less than equal to, that is within the box it will have non-zero value and outside the box it will have 0 values. Next, as v equal to 0, as potential is 0 for the particle, so the total energy will be the kinetic energy. there will be no potential energy, and this kinetic energy can be written as in terms of momentum as p square by 2m. So from this relation, I can get 2me is equal to px square, and this 2me is required in this relation. So I will replace 2me by px square in the equation 1, and it becomes this. Now px square can be written in terms of h cross square and the propagation constant using the formula given by de Broglie. K is 2 pi by lambda, lambda is given by h by p. Just replacing, you will get p is equal to h cross k. Okay, I put this value of px, and now this equation is reduced to this simple form. Now we have to get solution for this problem, as the equation 1 has taken this form now. So this is the equation that we have to solve, and this is a simple second order differential equation for which in mathematics we have a general solution. The general solution of this equation can be written in this form: a sine kx plus b cos kx, where a and b are the arbitrary constants. See, we have the solution, but let us verify it if this is a true solution of our problem or not. Just differentiate it twice and put it back. It becomes our equation number 2, which simply means that this is a solution to a problem. Now, okay, we have got the solution, but still we have some pending job. What is this pending job? This is to get the values of a and b. They are still unknown to us, and to know them we use boundary conditions. हम boundary conditions का use करते हैं a and b दोनों constants को निकालने के लिए. Boundary conditions क्या कहती हैं? They say that psi x is 0 both for x equal to 0 and x equal to a. That is, on the boundaries the wave function becomes 0. So I replace these values in equation 3. Putting x equal to 0, it becomes psi 0. Here a sine 0 plus b cos of 0. You know the value of sine 0, it is 0. And psi 0 is also 0. It simply gives us b is equal to 0. So now the constant b is known to us. We have calculated the value of b, which comes out to be 0. And now the psi x becomes, this psi x in the equation 3 simply becomes a sine kx. The second terms is completely 0 just because b is equal to 0. Next, apply the boundary condition psi a equal to 0, that is at the second wall of the box. On putting a x equal to a in equation 3, it takes the form psi a is equal to a sine ka, and as psi a is 0, a sine ka becomes 0, and from here I can get values of k, as k will have values n pi, where n can get values 0, 1, 2 and so on. So here k becomes n pi by a. Just replace it back in equation 3. Now our wave function, the solution of our problem, becomes a sine n pi by a into x. Now see, still constant a appears here. The constant a is still unknown to us. Now how can we calculate this constant a? So to evaluate a, we make use of normalization condition, as our wave function must be normalized also. So make use of normalization condition. What does this condition say? This condition says that the square of the wave function, if integrated over the all space, must give 1. This is the probability density, and obviously if it is integrated over the complete space, अगर हम probability density को पूरे space के ऊपर calculate करें तो definitely particle कहीं ना कहीं तो है, तो the solution becomes 1. the result becomes 1. So using this normalization condition, I replace the value of psi in this condition and solve further, multiply and divide by 2, and now this integral is just calculable as it gives the result a, substitute it, and finally we arrive at the value of the constant a. It comes out to be 2 by a under the root. So now we have also calculated the pending value of constant a. Now this becomes our wave function. This is the desired result of particle in one-dimensional box problem. So now the problem is completely solved for us. Now we will see that how this wave function can give various information about the system. First of all, let us see that the value of wave function corresponding to n equal to 0 is not acceptable to us. Why it is so? ऐसा क्यों है? This was our result for particle in a box problem, and you see that this is the propagation constant, which on replacing de Broglie formula as we also did it in the last slides, energy can be written in terms of propagation constant h cross square k square by 2m. You see that if I put n equal to 0 here, it makes k equal to 0 from this relation. And if k is equal to 0, here it will make energy 0. It will make energy 0. And you see that energy 0 simply means that the kinetic energy of the particle is 0, which means that particle is at rest at all times in the box, which is not acceptable to us as particle is in a continuous motion along x direction. One more point, as n equal to 0 here directly makes this argument 0 and finally the wave function 0. Wave function 0 will further imply that probability density as square of wave function will also be 0, which has a meaning that the particle is not in the box. The particle is not present in the box. This is quite an impossible outcome. So we will ignore the value of psi for n equal to 0, or simply we'll say that n is not equal to 0 for our problem, but it can take values starting from 1, 2, 3 and so on. Now we will discuss further about eigenfunction and eigenvalues of this problem. We will learn what is zero point energy, what is the quantization of energy and momentum, and finally the probability density and what are the nodes and denodes. So first of all, eigenfunction and eigenvalues. So starting from the solution of the particle in box problem, I can have various wave functions corresponding to various values of n. As for n equal to 1, I can write the first wave function for which p1 will be the momentum eigenvalue and p1 will be the energy eigenvalue. For n equal to 2, that is for second energy level, this will be the wave function and this p2 will be the momentum eigenvalue. And in the same manner, I can calculate various wave functions, various momentum eigenvalues and the corresponding energy eigenvalues. Now I can also calculate the value of the momentum corresponding to different energy levels, different quantum states as P equal to n pi h cross over A. Simply go on putting the value of n equal to 1, 2 and so on, and you will get different values of momentum eigenvalues. Similarly, you can have energy eigenvalues which using p square by 2m and p from here n pi h cross by A, so you get energy values as n square, pi square, h cut square divided by 2ma square. Again, by putting various values of n as 1, 2, 3 and so on, you can get values of different energy eigenvalues corresponding to different quantum states. So now understand what is 0 point energy. See, this was our result, and we have seen that n is equal to 0 is not possible for our physical system. So the smallest possible value that n can take is unity, is 1. And this is the first wave function corresponding to first energy level for first quantum state. And obviously, since n equal to 0 is not possible, this is the minimum energy that the particle in the box can have. It is the first quantum state, and the first energy level is this energy which the particle in the box can possess. And even when, if I reduce the temperature of the box up to 0 Kelvin, then too this will be the minimum energy that the particle has, and the zero energy of the particle is not possible as n is not, n cannot be 0. So this value of energy, this amount of energy becomes the 0 point energy. You just not hear that the 0 point energy in the particle in one dimensional box problem is not actually 0. It is this much amount, pi square h cut square over 2ma square. This amount is the 0 point energy for the particle in the box. Now, what is quantization of momentum and energy? See students, you have calculated the various momentum eigenvalues. You have calculated the various energy eigenvalues. You have seen that there are different values for different quantum states, both in the case of momentum and energy. So both these parameters have discrete values, and of course discreteness is called nothing but quantization. So we say that the momentum and energy, both variables are quantized, are quantized. Now in the last, see what is probability density and what are the nodes and antinodes. Probability density, you know, can be calculated directly from the wave function just by squaring it, and by the product of psi and psi star. Psi star is nothing but the complex conjugate to psi. See here, there is no imaginary part. So psi star is simply the psi, and you can multiply both to get psi square, and we get P, probability density, as 2 by A into sine square and pi x by A. Now this is the graph both for wave function psi and for probability density psi square. See students here carefully that the wave function can be positive as well as negative, while the probability density is always positive. Probability density is a squared quantity, so it can always be positive and real. Now these are the various plots for different quantum states. This is first quantum states corresponding to n equal to 1. This is second quantum state corresponding to n equal to 2. This is n equal to 3, and this is n equal to 4. Also see here what are nodes and antinodes. Nodes are the positions of zero displacement or of minimum displacement, or we can also say mathematically that where the wave function becomes 0, where psi x is 0. So see, these are the plots of psi. See, for n equal to 1, this is the point for which psi is equal to 0. Second, this is the point for which psi equal to 0. So corresponding to n equal to 1, I can say that there are two nodes. There are two nodes. One occur at x equal to 0 and second occurs at x equal to a. Similarly, for n equal to 2, I have three nodes. One at x equal to 0, second at 2a by 4 or a by 2, third at x equal to a. And you can also see in case of n equal to 3 and 4. In general, if I calculate the positions of nodes for nth quantum state, then how can I calculate? See, these are the points where psi x is equal to 0. So just put psi equal to 0. So it simply gives us that sine n pi x by a is 0. And if this is equal to 0, the argument becomes m pi. M is the various integers and x from here is simply m a by n. X is the value positions of nodes. Now putting m as 0, 1, 2, I have different positions of nodes for nth quantum state. It is 0, a by n, 2a by n, and so on. You can also check it for n equal to 3, let us say. So first node will occur at 0 as it occurred at 0 here. Second node should occur at a by 3 for n equal to 3. I am checking. So second node is at a by 3. So let us see. Second node is here at 2a by 6, which is nothing but a by 3. So this is okay. Next node occurs at 2a by 3. Next node here psi becomes 0. So this is 4a by 6, which is nothing but 2a by 3. So next node occur at 3a by 3, which is nothing but a. So this is the last or fourth node, which is at a. Now understand what are the antinodes. On contrary to nodes, antinodes are the positions where there is the maximum displacement, or we say that the psi x has maximum value. Using this expression, see when psi x will have maximum value, when sine of this function has maximum value, and the maximum value of sine function is obviously 1. So just use sine n pi x by a as 1 and calculate the value of arguments. It will give you value of x, which comes out to be 2m plus 1 into a by 2n. So the positions of antinodes will be in this form for nth quantum state. You can also check it. Let us say for n equal to 2, these are the antinodes. See in the plot, A denotes the positions of antinodes, N denotes the position of nodes. So antinodes की जो location है वो क्या है यहाँ पर? A by 2n. We are checking for n equal to 2. So first antinode will occur at A by 4. So let us check. Is it? Yes. First, this is the first antinode and this is at position A by 4. Next, 3A by 4. So second next maximum displacement is this. Second antinode is here at 3a by 4. And you can further check for the position of antinodes for n equal to 3, n equal to 4 and so on. See students, this wave function is very much significant for finding the position of the particle within the box. See, using this probability density, we can also locate the particle, as if the particle is in first energy level, corresponding to this energy, the particle has maximum chances to be present at in the middle of the box, that is at position a by 2. And if the particle is in second energy level, if it has energy corresponding to second energy level, that is in the second quantum state, then it has maximum chances to be present at x equal to a by 4 and at x equal to 3a by 4. Moreover, in the second quantum state, it has minimum chances to be present in the middle of the box, which was the maximum chances in the case of first energy level. And similarly, we can see where the particle has a maximum probability to be present in the various energy levels. So, so you see that using wave function, we can get very much valuable information about any physical system. This was all about the problem of particle in 1D box. In the next lecture, we will deal with the next problem. Thank you so much.